I participated in the semester-long exchange program, which I think was good for me because while I like being around people a lot, I am also I like to organize things by myself and go off do things myself. And so I think an exchange program is good for that because it doesn't necessarily put me with on the trip to Spain where there's 100 of my closest Texas Tech friends, but it kind of puts me out of my comfort zone and made me meet a lot of new people and do a lot of things for myself. And I really liked the semester-long exchange program because for the same price of a plane ticket, I got to be there for 4 months instead of just 6 to 8 weeks. My name is Nathan Wilson. I'm a chemical engineering major. I did a semester-long exchange program at the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia. Not really a big city person before I went, nor was I a big beach person. I grew up and I lived in the mountains a lot and I love the mountains, and I didn't really see what people liked that much about the beach, but being in Sydney, the city itself was very spread out and very laid back, and it was a really nice version of a bigger city, a lot better than a lot of the bigger cities I've been to here. So that was really great, and also we were a 20-minute walk down to the beach, so I went to the beach all the time. I did beach walks between beaches, just was along the coast a lot because pretty much all of Australia is along the coast. I mean, you can go inland, but it's basically a desert. So that was a lot of fun, and kind of both got to push me outside of my comfort zone, being there more alone, but also in the society and the different geography was very different than what I've been used to. I think the benefits of study abroad are both to just widen your experience as a person. Some people, even that go to Texas Tech, have lived in Lubbock their whole life, and so they haven't traveled, they haven't been able to I say broaden your experience, but really get to know people of other cultures and get to interact with people. And I think that's such a valuable part of just experience in general, but also marketable experience when you go on in life. Nobody's going to want to hire you for a job or something like that if you can't talk to people, or if you can't talk to people who aren't exactly like you. So that puts you in a place that's way outside of your comfort zone and forces you to be able to interact with a lot of different people and a lot of different cultures. I kind of had a variety of classes. I did a varying engineering heavy intro to chemical engineering class. I did a differential equations class. I did an environmental kind of design class, which is interesting, and then I did a psychology class. Their classes were very much more self-taught than they are here, which it prepared me a little bit more for the pandemic in ways, because you got what you did from class, but there wasn't a lot of focus on homeworks necessarily. It was more, we'll teach you the basics, and anything you don't understand, you kind of figure out for yourself at home. They didn't really have a lot of, I think there was a law that they couldn't require you to buy textbooks. So they had a lot of more specifically professor provided notes and any kind of stuff we needed from them. So that was very different for sure. They also had a lot of recorded classes, which I liked, because I like going back, and if I miss something during class, being able to go back and relearn it and teach myself. I used my study abroad advisor to give me a recommendation for a fellowship, which I actually got. And I think it was just good because she was able to speak to the fact that I was able to interact in lots of different cultures while I was there, be able to interact in a more studious environment, not just a trip abroad, but actually being able to work and function in an engineering environment. But I think it's also just makes me more marketable as a person, that I've been in a lot of more different situations than people who have just gone to college and stayed in the same town and done stuff with the same people. But the fact that I've worked with a variety of different professors and different cultures and all that just makes it overall more marketable. I think when I was getting into study abroad, I had a friend who was very into it and was going to plan everything out, and I was just kind of along for the ride at the beginning because I said, oh, well, hey, I need to do that. I guess I'll kind of show up to a few things and maybe I'll get this done eventually. But I think if I would have learned more about it initially, I would have been a lot less confused with the process, because there were several times when I just showed up to an info session and I was I don't really know what's going on, I'm just here. And I was oh, that place sounds cool, I guess I want to go there. And then I found out that they had none of the classes I needed. So maybe just to look at the website ahead of time and to find out the general information about going abroad. And also that classes while you go abroad are very important, unless you want to just be bumped back a semester or even a year is what I was told I would be if I didn't take the right classes that fit into my schedule. So just both get information in general and look into what classes might fit your general degree plan before you go abroad, and look for the places that have those classes. I think it was interesting because the classes while I was abroad, while they transferred to credits here, they were taught by different professors. So it was, while the professors here know the professors that are going to teach you your later classes, and that is helpful, I think it was interesting to get kind of different perspectives on the different kinds of engineering while I was over there. And you know, math is math for the most part, but like there are lots of different ways to do things and perspectives of looking at things. I think that was interesting to kind of get a varied perspective than what I would get here. It definitely helped me learn how to study more and how to kind of do things for myself, learn for myself, that I kind of transferred back here and used more, because my freshman year before that, I was kind of just like, I'll do the homeworks that they assign me and I'll do the projects that they assign me, but like if I don't need to do anything else, I won't do anything else. And that kind of pushed me into making more decisions for myself and like learning what I needed to learn outside of class. What surprised me the most was the dorm experience that I experienced there, which I don't know, I can't remember if they called it a residence hall or whatever they called it, but I stayed on campus, and the place I stayed was actually like the budget option on campus, and there was where a lot of international students stayed. But I think the specific place I went to really was what I imagined dorms to be like here. Like we had a cafeteria that we ate like in the same building, so you got to meet a lot of the people that you lived around. They did all kinds of activities together, and they had a lot of international students that they would like always try to invite you to do things because they knew you didn't know a lot of people there and know a lot of things to do. So it was very engaging and like kind of built a family that I wasn't really expecting, and that's what I always expected of the college experience in America, which not that Texas Tech has bad dorms, but I think that was just like the quintessential dorm experience life, and I made a lot of good friends there, and that definitely helped me out in my experience. I just really like the outdoors, and so there's obviously a lot of outdoors in Australia, and there's less people, and I know Sydney is a big city, but there was just always a place you could go, even in the city, where you'd walk like, you know, 10 feet and look around and be like, wait, am I still in the city? Because there's just a wide open beach, or there's tons of trees and like a small forest in the middle of Sydney or something like that. So it was really cool, and there's a lot of different experiences outdoors-wise that I really haven't gotten here in America. I think it's definitely one of my recommendations is just to always push yourself to experience more, and also like don't be afraid of asking like, hey, can I join you guys? Or like, hey, like tell me about that. Or just being the more outgoing you are, the more you'll experience, the more you'll enjoy your experience. Because if you just, you know, hole up in your room and watch YouTube all the time or something like that, there's no point in going abroad. So really being engaged and wanting to experience life there will benefit you a lot.